Hi, everyone. This is Swooper, and welcome back to a Target Acquired podcast, your weekly dose of Marvel Crisis Protocol news, strategy, and banter. We're excited to have you with us today, whether you're painting, prepping for your next tournament, or just hanging out. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this episode, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update, and if you're enjoying the content, consider supporting us on Patreon. Every little bit of support helps us grow the channel and bring more awesome content your way. All right, let's get into it. Who do we have with us today?
Hey, this is Sean, aka Reynolds Wrap.
And this is Gary, aka Crossroads.
All right, we finally have some news after that long dry spell where we've kind of seen everything. I didn't think this was going to be a thing, but Gen Con gave us some surprises. We got 3 surprise characters at Gen Con: She-Hulk 2, Leader, and Red Hulk. The only thing we know about the characters that was disclosed was that She-Hulk is not a 6 and that the Leader is the leader for a reason. So he should have a leadership of some sort. What did you guys think of those?
It's going to be interesting to see which direction they go with She-Hulk too. I could see both a 7 and a 5,
I think
but
it's a 5.
it'll be nice to have another She-Hulk. I mean, you think she'll have any connection to A-Force?
I don't know. I didn't really care for the model. It looks like Superman. That's all I thought of when I saw it. I was like, that's like the Superman cover, her like ripping off the suit to, show her super suit underneath of it kind of thing.
I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head now.
Yeah, it's all I saw as soon as I saw it.
I know there's a lot of rumors floating around about a all Hulk affiliation. That's not confirmed at all, right?
No, but just the fact that these 3 characters are going to be in a box, I definitely had that same thought that a Gamma Force affiliation could be a thing. But then the question becomes like, is it its own thing, or are we going to do this thing of like, oh, they're technically defenders, but it's Gamma Force,
Oh, so they count as defenders, but the leadership's Gamma Force?
Right, because that's happened with a couple of them, where they're supposed to be this, but next to it, it says something else. Like you thought that was going to be its own affiliation, but it's not.
So you're talking about like MODOK 2, for instance.
Where maybe AIM would get its own affiliation, but it doesn't.
So, this is going to show how much I don't know about Marvel, but Leader, is he like good guy, bad guy?
He's a bad guy.
Okay.
You know what? I think I misspoke too. I don't think it's She-Hulk. I think it's Red Hulk is not a 6 or a 7. I can't remember. It was one of those things. Was the rumor? I think it's Red Hulk is not a 6.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I hope he's not a 5. Also, I hope he's Shield.
Is that where he traditionally goes? I don't know Red Hulk
He's a
very well.
general in the United States Army. I could see him being Shield. She-Hulk Shield, so I don't know if She-Hulk 2 is going to be Shield. Leader, I would assume, is going to be Cabal and whatever. That's the thing. It's like I think like Leader's probably just going to be a Cabal leader. I don't know about this Gamma Force thing. I feel like it's a reach.
Yeah.
You think it's just going to be a bland leadership?
I don't know. He could have something pretty cool. Like, I mean, he's supposed to be super smart, like a tactician kind of thing. I would almost think it'd be like a Loki 2 situation or something. He's probably going to have dog shit physical defense, like a 2 for physical defense. But I bet you he has like good energy and good mystic. I don't know what he would do. He usually has like gadgets and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like on his base. He's on that weird disc thing that's
Yeah,
like
he's on
getting
like a
ready to shoot a
floaty
laser.
thing. I remember I had a toy of him as a kid. He had like a big punchy robot thing. But yeah, it's I like that we didn't see everything, because that was my big thing about Adepticon going forward is we knew everything coming out. And previous years, we didn't get any surprises. So this is great.
It's
I'm
like
all
they were
for a
listening to you.
surprise. I know, right? We had a bad audio episode, and I literally talked about no news and that there were no surprises, and the audio was bad on it, thank God, because right after that, we got this Gen Con surprise. And I was like, well, took back everything I said there. This is great, which is good because it just means that like at Adepticon this year, we can be excited for more surprises, even though it's laid out so far in advance. And there's mini Stravaganza still, which is it was in November, but I think it's earlier this time.
Yeah, I think I saw it in October for this year, or maybe it was even September.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's way earlier this year. And if that's the case, if we're getting surprises at Gen Con, mini Stravaganza's got to have a surprise.
Now, we don't know a release date or anything, right? So we don't even know where these are in the release order?
Well, so we don't know where they are in the release order, but because they are physical models at Gen Con, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but Nimrod was at Adepticon, and he's not coming out for another year and a half.
Well, I mean, they can't release all the ones they had ready to go, but it's not going to be a Brotherhood situation or like Ronin, Tigra, and who the fuck's the third one? Echo. You know, we saw them forever ago, and they just never had the physical models ready until recently, and now all of a sudden they're on pre-order. There is also a lot of stuff up for pre-order this week. All the new Spider-Man sets up for pre-order, the Tigra, Ronin, Echo box up for pre-order. We also got these new starter sets. These big starter sets with the 10 characters in them, the X-Men Brotherhood starter set, and this one is the Spider Foes, which from what we heard will cycle. The X-Men Brotherhood will be a standard, and the Spider Foes will cycle over time. So like if you think you're getting into Spider Foes, which is a really fun like affiliation to play, now's your time when it comes out. $95, 10 characters, and it's not just 10 characters, it's like the whole like it's like a starter set without terrain. Tactics cards, crisis cards,
I think it comes with
measuring
measuring
sticks,
tools.
dice, the whole everything except for the terrain essentially.
Yeah, it's an insane way of getting in.
Yeah, $95 American, pretty good. And then with those starter sets, a starter set surprise, the large terrain set they put out, that's a pretty solid set. 2 apartment buildings, a bunch of other terrain. It's basically like a whole table's worth, which is great because before I felt like all those kits, you never had enough.
Yeah, it's
you
gonna be
know?
sad news to all those scalpers that were trying to sell apartment buildings for $300 on eBay.
Yeah, I have 3. I have 3 sitting here.
Yeah, it's definitely like, because even in the starter set, when you got that, like it had terrain, but it didn't have a table worth of terrain in it.
Right, and it also didn't have 5s or 4s. You had to buy those extra. It was just like a minimum scattering of terrain. But this is like a legit, you get 2 5s, and if you haven't had an apartment building before, that is like the best kit.
Especially having 2 of them.
Yeah, because what I did is I made one of mine instead of making them both 3 floors, I made one 4 and the other one's 2. So they look totally different. And it comes with so many options. It's such a great kit. I was really like surprised that it wasn't going to get repackaged and there wasn't any kind of word of, on the street that said, "Oh, it's coming back." Cuz we just assumed it was gone. And then bam, here you go, 2 of them. And it's not bad. It's $150, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's right around 150.
Right, and if you price it out, I think were the regular apartment buildings not like 60 each?
They were like 60 or $70 each. I
Right,
think.
that's 140 right there. And then you get all the 1s, the 2s, and like the a couple of 3s. Because you get a dump truck, so you get a 4 in there too.
Yeah, you get the garbage truck.
Wow, that garbage truck alone is like another $40.
Yeah.
And then you get the Daily Bugle set. Yeah, that's a solid set.
They're gonna follow suit of what like Kill Team is doing and come out with like new terrain starter sets every couple of years.
Maybe that starter set also does come with the one shots for all that terrain, if that's what is your fancy. I have yet to play with any of those one shots. I like that they did it. I think it's cool, but I could definitely see a Wakanda because they have enough Wakanda stuff to make a big set like that. Those would be cool. I would really like big sets like that. I really wish they had that Moon set, like an Inhuman set. I thought was coming, never came.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they just reused some of the Shatterpoint terrain for it.
No, it's not. I looked at it. I looked hard at it because that's what I thought too. It's just some kind of custom terrain or something, I guess. Or it's just sitting, AMG's hiding it, and then they're going to listen to this podcast, and they're going to be like, oh, shit. And then the next release is going to be the Moon set.
You
heard it here first.
Since they're starting to
It's
do these,
happened multiple times.
well, since you bring that up, since they're releasing these train sets now, I want them to start releasing those exclusive mats that they made for Adepticon and would not let us buy.
Yeah. I almost thought, because like when the apartment building went away, that they were just kind of almost done with terrain in a weird way. And because like a lot of the mats are very hard to find, if they
Right,
even
so
still make them.
I don't think they do. So I would like to see them like start making more mats again and making new sets of terrain.
Yeah, I would love to see some like different areas of terrain kind of thing, not just like city stuff. Give me the moon, give me the hell carrier, give me the savage lands, you know. Let's do some other stuff. I mean, with so that's lots of stuff for new players to hop into the game. You know, you got a whole terrain. So like what? A little over $200 gets you an affiliation and a whole table's worth of terrain. That's good.
That's not a bad entry fee at all.
Just need a friend to play with you.
That's true. You need friends. Friends or a computer. Then you don't need the models at all.
And the
Well, you
real
still need someone to
prize,
play against.
and the real prize is the friends we made along the way.
That's the end of One Piece. Get ready. There's no gold, people. It's friendship.
It's the adventure.
Yep. So with all this, we have lots of stuff for the new players to hop into the game and stuff. With that, we had a topic request on our Patreon from Bradley Gilmore. And what do we think would be some good suggestions for getting into the game and building that roster? So let's take this as if we are new players or when we started the game, essentially, we were all, you know, the new players and stuff. What got us like to where we are? You know, how do we start?
So I guess picking an affiliation depends if you have friends that already play the game or not.
That is true. Because you don't want to play the same thing your friends play.
Exactly.
I mean, when I hopped into the game, I had known the game existed, and I hopped into the game when Ghost Rider came out, and I said, deal, I'm in. Ghost Rider's an awesome character. Let's do this. And that kind of set the stage, and I kind of went from there.
But you didn't play Midnight Suns, right?
No, I did not. I had Ghost Rider. Well, they also didn't have Midnight Suns yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say Midnight Suns didn't exist yet. He was Defenders.
Ghost Rider was just Defenders. And I was just using him to use him kind of thing. I really wanted to play Brotherhood and X-Men, but this was also when they had like their early release and there wasn't a lot to play with because it took a long time for them to get support.
I'm even trying to think of what I started with.
I thought you started with A-Force.
I'm gonna say can't remember if I went A-Force Asgard or Asgard A-Force.
I think you went A-Force Asgard, but I'm also not positive. That was a long time ago.
It was one of the two. It was either A-Force Asgard or Asgard A-Force, and basically I just wanted to roll a lot of dice.
No. I started Asgard and then moved to Hydra because I wanted to play something that no one else was playing.
And that's exactly what I did, the same thing for Shield. Nobody was playing Shield, and I was like, fuck it. And then it turned out that's like my go-to now, and I love it. It plays my style wise and everything. I think it fits really well. I think there's just some, you know, each affiliation is playable. So no matter where you start, you can play the game and still have a good time. Now, is every affiliation great? No.
What do you mean? Sentinels are awesome.
They will be. They will be.
Will every affiliation let you have a good time?
Yeah, you could still have a good time. And that's the nice part about this game is that you have the ability to play an affiliation. Like if you want to play X-Men, but you also want to play MODOK 1 because you really like the model or the rules, you can do that. That's what's great about this game is that you don't just have to play X-Men. You can play your favorite character even if they're not part of the affiliation you're playing. You know, that's a really solid rule in this game that lets you play with all your toys.
Yeah, I like how they work affiliations in this, where it's like you have to mainly try, but there's a lot of crossover in the comics, so it's not too far fetched.
Right. So I think like the best place to start is to start with either the affiliation you really want to play or the character you really want to play. And you go from there.
Not necessarily knowing what the rules to it are.
Correct. I think you play for fun and you kind of learn the stuff as you go along. Like I didn't start with Shield. I ended up at Shield. I definitely played X-Men. I don't even know what else I played, honestly, because I've been playing Shield for so long.
Shield is definitely one of those more nuanced affiliations. Like the easiest thing to do coming into this game is just play a beater affiliation, and then you move into the more extract play. Like, I wouldn't start with webs if you're going to start. But I will say, if you start with webs, you'll probably become a better player faster than if you start with, I don't know, Asgard.
Yeah, I think it's true to an extent.
Right. I mean, you have to be a good webs player, but a
Mhm.
good webs player is going to understand the fundamentals of the game better than
It's
someone
like
that just wants to roll dice.
it's any game though, where some armies, teams, models are more difficult to play than others, but can be more rewarding than others too.
Yeah. Each affiliation has its own floor and ceiling.
Right. And I think with that too, there's a lot of trial and error that goes into playing this game if you don't have someone who has played it. So like when we got into it, we just jumped into it. Nobody else was playing. It's not like we went to a store and somebody taught us how to play. I bought the starter set and a couple of models. And I said, guess what we're playing? And then we put them together and we figured it out as we went. So with that, I do think there are things that new players should avoid or like, just be aware of, especially like your tactics cards. Your tactics cards can be a big trap in playing the game. I think as you play the game, the more games you play with your friends, if you're not spending your tactics cards, if they're not being used during your game, you should probably think about other cards. And you have to get into the habit of using those cards as well. That's like a tough thing to go from if you're coming from Warhammer. You're coming to MCP because there are no tactics cards in War. There's stratagems, yes, but I feel like the tactics cards are different. And I remember when I first started, I had a lot of trouble remembering to use my tactics cards.
Well, hell, I'll even take it back one level from there and say that we should probably mention that we'll just plug Jarvis because Jarvis is my favorite app. There are two, I guess. Jarvis and Cerebro is still around.
I would just use Jarvis.
Just
I
use
don't know if
Jarvis.
Theros is even active.
Yeah, but depending on where you source your models from. So if you go out and you buy that brand new affiliation pack that we just talked about that has all the Spider Foes in it or all the X-Men in it, you're good to go. If you buy old packed character packs, you're going to get mission cards in there that are no longer relevant to the game. You're also going to get tactics cards that could have been rotated out of the game as well.
True. The banned and restricted list is definitely something to be aware of that it exists. I have seen a lot of Facebook posts of people that are unaware that these things have been banned or cycled out. And they're like, well, I just got this. Yeah, well, that's, yeah.
Just because you
Sorry.
open the box today doesn't mean that the box
Right.
was new.
Other things to be aware of too is just like your cards, not your tactics cards, your crisis cards that you take. They're all based around certain point levels, but you need to be aware that you could possibly be playing any point cost between 16 and 20. So you need to be able to play that affiliated. So sometimes you can't just take all giant characters because it can get you. And then all of a sudden you're not affiliated anymore because you didn't take a 2 cost or a 3 cost. So I think those are really important things to pay attention to.
And one more thing with tactics cards, be careful about running too many character specific cards
Oh my
because
God, yeah.
it happened when I started playing Crime. I took a lot of character specific, and there was a couple times where I'd go to build my point total and I'd go, oh, I don't have enough tactics. I can't take 5 tactics cards. I don't have enough.
I have done the same thing where you're down a tactics card because the only options you have are character specific and you cannot get that character in the roster,
Yep.
on the board.
Well, there are affiliations that have that problem, like Hydra, where you don't have a lot of Hydra specific cards that are.
You have them.
Yeah, there's cards. They're not great.
But there's also like generic cards, like your 2 restricted cards are going to be generic cards. And, things like recal and stuff like that. You just need to make sure that you're not going to get into a position where you're like, oh, I got 7, character specific cards and I'm only bringing 4 characters.
Right. And then I think with that stuff too, so you're going to build your roster. You're looking at your 10 characters and you have to decide what 10 am I bringing with me. So you've decided on your affiliation essentially, and probably your like you definitely want this character, you definitely want this affiliation. So I'm going to use X-Men as my example for stuff. I want to play X-Men. So then, from there, where do I go kind of thing. I would assume from there you would go to your leaderships and you would look at your different leadership options. Each leadership is completely different in X-Men. So you have Professor X, Storm, and Cyclops. They all do different things. I want to play Professor X. Well, with Professor X, his leadership is anytime somebody uses a superpower, well, the first superpower used per turn, you get power to send somewhere else. So then I need characters that are going to specifically go with this, that are going to set this leadership off so I can get that maximum value out of Professor X's leadership. And I think you just build from there and see what works. It takes testing, it takes playing. You'll know, like sometimes you think things are going to work and they don't. You have to find those synergies, that work together.
Professor X is a great example because his leadership is turn-based, not round-based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like even on your opponent's activation, if you have a character that can use a superpower, it activates. So like that's something to think about while you're picking out those characters.
Right. How can you maximize that extra power gain?
And I would definitely focus on one leader to start. Like in the example of X-Men, there are 3 leaders. Don't try to make a roster that uses all 3 leaders. Pick one, learn how to play the game on that one leader.
Right. And see if it fits for you. Sometimes like you'll pick a leader because you really liked him, but it might not be your style. You might not be a brawler. You might like playing the extract game, or you might like, Spider-Foes has the Trap House. That might be your jam.
That's a really fun list to play.
Yeah, it's a crazy list to play. But that's the thing. So like Dracula, if you wanted to play Dracula, you would basically build around bleed. So you take all characters that hand out bleed.
With Shadow King.
Yeah. But then if you're a defensive player, crime is a really good one where you can play what we call potatoes, where they'll just sit there.
I love
you
my
have
crime.
you have to get them off of the point. They're very difficult to get off of points because they count as 2 people. You could play Hydra and your whole Hydra or Apocalypse. They're both kind of the same thing where you're handing out status conditions on everything. And those static conditions are going to synergize and activate other characters' abilities. So I think it's just you pick like what affiliation, what leader, and kind of go from there. And let's say you're the character you want to play is not a leader. You wanted to play Wolverine. You want to play X-Men because you like Wolverine.
You can play X-Force. Or
Right. I mean, but that's the thing is that's
Weapon
where you
X
go
is
from
what I was
there.
thinking.
Is you look at that character. So we're looking at Wolverine, and we're gonna go, well, which one of these affiliations do I want to play? And then it's like, do I want to play X-Force? Do I want to play Weapon X, or do I want to play X-Men? Or do I want to play all crime and just throw Wolverine in there and make him a bad guy? So you can do anything you want. I think it's just important to play the things that you want to play and the things that you're going to have a good time with. Like I said, everything is playable.
So if we had to pick the top 3 affiliations that are most entry-level friendly, what would we suggest for that?
Steve 1 is the most
I was gonna
entry level.
say,
Yeah,
Avengers
that's
Steve 1.
obviously the easiest one.
Yeah, Steve 1 is very forgiving, I think is what we're looking for. Steve 1.
Almost say Kingpin.
I do think Kingpin is a good one.
Yeah.
I was going to say Midnight Suns as well.
Well, Blade Midnight Suns?
Yes. I think Bump is very easy to use. It takes skill to master.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those easy to use, hard to master things.
Right. But you'll see the benefits of that extra movement, how important just a hop of 1 can really be. And that makes a difference later on down the road.
I was gonna say A-Force.
Yeah. The problem, I mean,
I think Asgard's in that boat too, like especially Thor 1. I think they're very forgiving. You get an extra power, you can remove a status condition. A-Force is just built around taking damage, so you kind of get a benefit for almost making like some mistakes. But then I think there's like the opposite of that. Who's tough to play. I think Webbs is kind of tough to play as a beginner.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse is very tough to play as a
Do
beginner, I
not start with
think.
Apocalypse just because of
No.
the amount of extra rules that
Yeah,
comes
Yeah,
there's
with
so
him.
there's
many
so many
nuances.
you've already got all the rules and all the character cards, and then you add extra superpowers on top of that and a token system.
And things that happen in different phases.
Yeah,
And like,
he's great and a lot of fun, but I don't think he's beginner friendly. I think Shield is also a tough one for beginners. Fury Shield, not Namor Shield.
And Namor Shield still you have to group up if you want to get the
Yeah,
benefit.
but yeah, I think even X-Men in reality, I think can be a very good way to start. There's a lot of options there. You get a lot of cheap characters that have lots of different things.
I think actually, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. I think X-Men with Professor X especially
Yeah,
gives you every single scenario that you would need to learn any other roster because you have the leadership that you need to track with moving power around. You have access to first class, which is a very powerful tactics card, but it teaches you the importance of first turn roster building and crisis card management because you want to have crisis cards that synergize with taking first class.
correct. And just using your tactics cards in general because you need to remember to use them. And you need to understand that those 5 cards should pretty much be gone at the end of your game. If you're not using them, there's no point in taking them, kind of thing. So if you've played 5 games with a tactics card and you have never used said tactics card in all 5 games, you should probably think about switching it out. But yeah, I think those are all good beginner friendly ones to kind of not stay away from, but they're a little tougher to play and stuff. I think with that too, when you have your leader and you've decided, so we have decided we're playing X-Men, we're playing Professor X. So the next thing that should be considered, I think, is a core. And a core is characters that are always going to be on the board. Characters that no matter what point cost you're playing, these are my go-to characters. And then from there, which are usually those go-to characters are also the characters that keep you affiliated. And then from there you basically it's like cooking, you add to flavor, you add for what you want. So you're looking at like what, 9, 10, 11 points worth of core? Sound about right?
yeah. So
I think most of my cores are usually 12 when I think about it.
Yeah, I think it depends on like how costly your leader is or how costly your roster is. But yeah, I could see 12 being that's totally fine. At some point too, like you could even say 15.
Well, yeah, you have a normal core, and then you actually that one core is more of a flex on
Right.
the last one.
So we're looking at Professor X, we're looking to be X-Men, and we need a core to activate and keep Professor X going. So with that, we need a character to start the chain. We need someone who's going to set off Professor X's leadership right away and get this ball rolling. So I think your two options there are you either take Magic or you take Nightcrawler. Both of them have a 1 cost superpower that allows them to teleport. And by using that superpower, it allows you to take that 1 power that you spent on that superpower and put it somewhere else.
And when you get into that, it's great to stack with Iceman, and then Iceman spends 2 to move another character up.
Correct. And then you could do the same thing with Angel, because Angel and Iceman both have 2 cost abilities. So after the first one, they'll be able to use their Hitch a Ride and pull a character with them as they move up to take the objectives too, which then continues the chain. So you're looking for characters that are going to use superpowers on a regular basis to keep this ball rolling. So I would think I prefer Magic over Nightcrawler. It's just my personal opinion. So I would think my core would be Iceman, Professor X, Magic. So we're looking at a 10-point core to have 3 characters affiliated. So we're playing 16 points, the lowest we can play. It allows us 6 points to put in what we need to put in for that match.
And up to 2 of it can be unaffiliated because we already know that our core is 3 affiliated.
Correct. And those are the kind of things you'll start to notice as you play the game more, to be affiliated because you have to have that 51%. So by getting this core already set and having those 3 characters, knowing that I'm playing these 3 characters most games, the only time it's ever going to matter is as it gets more points, I'm probably going to have to add another X-Men in there. But most of the time, as long as you have 4 affiliated, I highly doubt you're going to be unaffiliated.
Yeah, I can't imagine
I
where
think
you
the
would
only
be.
one that can is, I think Webs is the one right now that's coming up that could somehow. I can't remember.
They can have enough. They can have enough points to do 4 and 4.
I think so. If you have 9, no, you'd have to take a lot of 2s.
Yeah, I was about to say you'd have to take a bunch of
Yeah,
2s, and
I
in
think
which
that's
case
what
you're
it
just
was.
kind
I
of
think you had to take like all the 2s, but you could, if I remember right, because you could have like the maximum amount of like characters on the board.
at that point just play Weapon X.
But then, so let's say we're playing, we're using our core. We have Iceman Magic and Professor X, and we're going into Senators as our crisis that we got. So we have 6 objectives we have to gather. 6 extracts we have to gather up, so we're going to need more bodies. So from there, you would pick your probably wider team, which would be your cheaper characters that have more bodies on the field. More bodies means you can pick up more extracts. And vice versa if it's just playing Witnesses. Is Witnesses still a thing? Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Is it, Gary?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
What
Just
am I thinking of?
Are you thinking of
They changed
Paranoia?
there's
you
a
thinking of
new
Pummels?
one. No, there's a new one that they changed the
Oh,
name.
what's the one that has 2
I'm looking it up now.
Wedding Party?
Wedding Party.
Wedding Party, yeah. I was gonna say I know they changed it to something
Yeah,
else.
Wedding Party. So where there's only 2 extracts on the board, you know what? Maybe we don't have to go as small. We can go a little bigger. So maybe we take Phoenix. Go big. Since we don't have to be X-Men anymore, F it. Let's take Hulk. Hulk has come to join the party and is going to fight with the X-Men just because I want to play with Hulk.
Witnesses does exist. I stand
Okay, there we
corrected.
go. I thought it
Oh.
did.
I don't think I've had to play that mission in a while. I guess no one
It
takes
used
it.
to come up all the time, and now I feel like I don't play it very often either. And then, there's other things too where you have to think about these kinds of things. Let's say my X-Men and I know I'm playing Gary in his crime. I've played Gary in his crime multiple times. I've figured out that crime is hard to get off points because his leadership allows all of his characters to count as 2 characters, healthy characters. So I need to get them off of the points in order for me to score points to win. So now we have to look at our roster and maybe we take characters that have lots of displacement. You have people who have throws or people who move characters around like Avalanche. Avalanche's a good 3, 2 power. Oh, there you go, Kingpin, you're off the point.
Beast.
Professor X moves characters. Beast is a great example because Beast, all you need is that chain to go off once, and then bam, Beast has a size 3 throw online. As soon as that Professor X's leadership goes off once, gives Beast a power, moves twice, throws medium,
Throws short.
throws short, but that's off the point.
And Beast even has a reactive superpower to spend power on your
Correct.
opponent's turn.
And so does Professor X. So there's like plenty of opportunities to use his leadership to build more power onto other characters. You just have to be aware of those. You have to realize what you're doing. Like once the missions come out, you have to figure out what is my plan. Am I going to go heavy into these extracts, take those 6 points? Sometimes if you take those extracts, you go heavy on that, you might not be able to get those secures. It's hard to do everything, but be good at one thing, Being good at that one thing can really put you over like Webs. Webs are really good at taking extracts and getting the hell out of there.
Crime.
Crime is great at secures.
Secures.
And if those are things you're good at, you're looking for when you build your 10 after you have your X-Men characters that you know you need. So at least you needed at least 4 X-Men characters. From there, we have 6 characters. If we wanted to, we could splash. I don't suggest splashing 6 characters.
I also don't suggest splashing at all with X-Men just because it's anti-synergistic with First Class.
True, it definitely is with them. But if you want to splash characters, I do think you could have like 3 to 4 splashes is totally fine. It can work, especially if your core is very low. It makes it easier to splash in those other characters that you want to play. So if you want to play with Hulks, or if you want to take, if you want to do like a themey thing where you have the Brotherhood fighting with the X-Men, you can do that. As long as you just got to think of what you're looking for in your mission and what you want to cover as a basis. Because like with the Tactics card First Class that Sean brought up, you play it at the beginning of turn 1, and then now you can interact and pick up for free. Is it just pick up?
I believe it's interact, right?
I think it's both.
I think it's both. Yeah.
So your first interact or of the turn is free. So that means magic can teleport forward. That spends a power. That power goes to another character. Then she can move up, grab the extract because it's free, and then move back. So these are all things to think about when you're like setting up of what extracts you want to pick, what secures you want to pick, whose extracts you pick, and whose secures you pick when after you've decided who gets to pick which one. Because sometimes you'll look at your opponent and be like, oh shit, I'm really bad at witnesses and wedding party. I don't want to play 2 secures. I'd rather spread myself out and play more stuff. So I don't want to play those.
That's also like with first class, they're amazing at pay to flips, and most other
Yes.
groups aren't. So
Very good at pay to flips, especially with like Professor X, very good with their power, being able to spread it around and stuff. I think those are all just things you get used to as you play the game, and it, like I said, it takes trial and error to get to a certain point. Like with Gary with your crime, it took a while to figure out those movements and whatnot.
yeah, it took a long time. It took a lot of me being stubborn about some things and then finally realizing that it just wasn't working, and also like playing in a more competitive events, you run into people playing what you're playing and you see them do things and you're like, wow, I didn't even think about that. And it makes you realize like that there's a lot of depth to a lot of these affiliations, and not most of them aren't what they seem on the surface.
Right. And getting out there and playing games is also, I think, very important. Like you can play with your friends, of course, but you can't just solely rely on playing the same person over and over and over again.
It
I
also
don't
gets really boring because you guys probably don't own every single roster.
Right, it gets boring, but at the same time, I don't feel like you learn as much just playing a single person or like if us 3 here just played each other all the time, we're gonna show up at a tournament or an event and be dramatically surprised.
Yeah, especially when you're playing a rule wrong, but both of you think that you're playing it right, so you never learn any different.
Right, exactly. That's a good thing that AMG does do, though. If you have a dispute on a rule or you don't know what it means, a lot of those questions have already been asked. It's not a stupid question. Just Google crisis protocol and the question you're thinking of, and most likely there's an answer. It's very rare that I haven't found an answer for any of the questions I've looked up. Lady Mastermind being the most recent one because she's a new character. I still don't have a real 100% answer on that one. I think we're right though.
Yeah, I think if I had to rule it at a tournament, I would say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pick an affiliation that really calls out to you, that you're like, man, I really like these models, and start playing them. One or two things are going to happen. You're really going to like them, or you're going to be like, wow, this play style is not for me, which is fine. And then at least you know what you're looking for at that point. But it's really just looking at the models, seeing what calls out to you, and then going from there. And then just making sure that you can fill out all the points.
Don't go gung ho. Start with an affiliation pack. Don't buy everything in the game.
Yeah, I have a lot of characters that are still just in their boxes.
So do I. That's okay though. We all have shame. We all have that. I highly doubt there's anybody out there that plays these games and doesn't have some gray shame in their closet.
I don't
And
have any
yes-
gray shame in my closet.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
You have the most gray shame.
It's not shameful.
Okay.
And how
It's-
often
It's an
do you end up
investment.
how often do you end up with a character in your roster that just doesn't see the board often? Like you
It
have,
happens all the time, especially at tournaments, that you're going to have 10 characters to pick from. It doesn't mean you have to play with all 10. Somebody might not make it. And it happens a lot.
Yeah, every once in a while there is a character I specifically take for a certain matchup, and I just don't
Mhm.
get that matchup.
Yeah, I feel like your 10th character is that guy that's just like he's there for one very specific reason, and he might not see the board at all.
Yeah, the last 2 tournaments I played in, I had Namor in my 10, and I played Namor a total of 0 times.
And you know what? I can't even think of, like, with my shield, who are my characters that basically, like, never see the board. Because I definitely have a core of characters. So, like, for my core for shield, I have Namor, Baron Zemo 1, and Nick Fury Senior. Yes, no, Junior. Sorry, Nick Fury Junior. I get them mixed up. Black Nick Fury. And so those are always going with me no matter what. Every game, those 3 are going to be on the board. And I'm usually playing Invader's leadership because it synergizes so well together. Namor gives a reroll within 2. Zemo gives a reroll within 2. Fury gives a reroll to his grunts within 3. So the grunts alone are getting 3 rerolls as long as they stay in this reroll bubble. And that is just, they only roll 4 dice, and I'm rerolling 3 of them. It adds up, and every time they do a damage, Fury gets a power. Then Fury gets to do his insanity where he makes them shoot even more.
And I know you play the Howling Commandos a lot.
I do play the Howling Commandos a lot.
Do you
because
have Spider-Woman or Agent Venom in your roster?
I'm trying to get Jarvis to bring me to my rosters, but for some reason he wants to fight me. Namor Shield. That's who it is. Okay, so I realize now why I don't remember. So a lot of the times, like I said, I have those 3 characters: Baron Zemo, Namor, Nick Fury. Then as the points go up, I will add in, I have Black Widow, the 2 cost to fill in any little gaps, the Howling Commandos or Hawkeye, depending on what I feel like playing at that moment. And then as I get way up there, King T'Challa makes the board. He hits very, very hard. He also has rerolls, so that synergizes with Namor and Zemo. On his attacks, if he pounces, he gets more rerolls. If he's with closer than 3, he gets rerolls. He has, Wisdom of the Ancients. And on top of that, Namor's leadership is a defensive reroll, and if I stay in that bubble, I unlock Skull. So it all piles in together of like why I take those characters together.
Do you still have
the-
She-Hulk?
No. The reason I do not remember the characters that I don't take is because they were in here
From the
for
dorm
my
days?
correct. It was for my
Okay.
16 because I don't like playing low points with Shield. So my 16 is Dormammu, Weapon X, and Mighty Thor. So I technically only play with 7 characters.
I was
'Cause they
wondering
don't
if you
really
still
see
had
the
that in
board.
there.
So at 16, I divert and I play something totally different because I don't like Shield at low points. I struggle with Shield at low points. So my answer to that is 3 monsters.
That's funny. That reminds me of when I used to play Black Order, and then I was like, I need something for the point totals that don't make sense for me.
Yep. And it's great because those 3 synergize perfectly with one another. Dorm gives out extra power every power phase. Great. Now, Weapon X has charge online. Jane has her throw online.
She has her charge online.
Her charge is 3. Okay, yeah. So then her charge is online. Weapon X charge is online. First turn, move, charge, murder something. With that, Weapon X goes down. That's okay because Dormammu brings him back. You have to kill Weapon X 4 times. Have fun.
And each time you kill him, he goes psycho.
Yep. Every time you finish him, also 2 times he's going to roll to do extra damage when he dies. And he's going to be around, like at least for a little. There's no way you're going to take him out like 4 turns in a row kind of thing. He's going to be around at some point and he's going to hit you hard. But yeah, those are the kinds of things that you can look for. Synergies, things that combo off of one another. Or you could just play the way you want to play, where you just like, I just want to take the original X-Men team. And that's totally fine. And it's playable and it can work. I don't feel like there's too many characters that are put into affiliations that are like counter to the affiliation, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely some like absolute duds.
No, that is true. I mean, there are a couple single characters out there that are pretty rough. But you could still play Black Order.
Yes, correct.
And have a good time. Just a single character sometimes, not everybody can be a winner. Somebody's got to be worse than the others.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any character that like completely like nullifies your own affiliation.
Right.
God, Maximus.
You think he nullifies his own affiliation?
I think he's just terrible.
I haven't really seen him on the board enough to like honestly say anything. I've heard from
Who's
like
gonna put
some
him on the board?
people. He gets put on. I've seen him on the board a bunch, like a bunch of Inhuman players. I see him on the board with Inhumans. I've seen him be leader for Inhumans, and
The whole thing is Inhumans have rerolls, and he forces you to reroll no matter what, and then you take damage if you roll Skull.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like a lot of people say it doesn't come up that often. Like you would think it would, but it doesn't. Is
I
what
guess
they
people
tell
don't
me.
roll Skulls.
I guess not.
I
don't
roll
really
them all
know.
the time, so
Yeah, so I have no idea. I've never played against him. I've never played with him, so I'm not 100% on whether or not he's good or not. But I have seen him on the table at competitive events with like competent players. You know, like like if we go down that line, like I feel like Claw is. I really like Claw, but his leadership is very selfish.
it's a selfish one, but it's not like against what
Right.
the
It
faction
works
wants
with
to do.
the hand ninjas, which are also crime. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody counters their own team. I think when they designed the characters and stuff, they really designed them to be like, these guys are supposed to work together. You're supposed to play these guys together. Do you think we have anything else that we want to go over?
No, I mean, start with something simple. Like, start with those new starter boxes. They're great. They have every character you need in them, and they're a freaking steal.
Oh my god, yeah, the brand new big boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with those. Start with
Yeah.
one of those. Pick your favorite.
I think that Spider Foes one is a major win. I really, really like that one. A lot of those characters are very fun to play on the board. They're very cool models on the board.
Sandman's in that.
Okay, that's why I said cool models, because Sandman is an amazing model.
Sure, I will give Sandman is a great model.
Okay, and I've used him a couple of times,
Uh-huh.
and he's not great, but I like him.
It's interesting that the X-Men starter set is X-Men and Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I thought that was weird.
There's
I didn't really
definitely enough
understand that.
X-Men. There's enough X-Men to make that all X-Men.
Right.
Like
There was
Colossus isn't in there. Like,
which is weird because Colossus is Brotherhood and X-Men.
right?
And like, is Rogue in it?
Rogue and Gambit are both also in it.
Okay. Yeah, I
That
think the
sounds like-
Spider Foes one would be a lot of fun. And is that one I think will get bought up pretty if you like anybody's new to the game, I think that Spider Foes one gets picked up big time.
Oh yeah, if I didn't already have all the Spider Foes, I would
Yeah, I'd buy it.
absolutely be buying that.
I think that Spider Foes one will get bought more than the X-Men one.
Probably.
Yeah.
And my guess on Colossus is they're doing a Weapon X one already, and he's packaged in that.
Oh, you mean like so that they do a big box of Weapon X, they're going to need characters to put in the Weapon X one.
Not
'Cause
Weapon
you
X,
can't-
X-Force.
X-Force.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
X-Force, because you can't put all three Wolverines in one box.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good call out. He probably is an X-Force.
Yeah. I don't know how often they're going to cycle these big boxes. I just know that they are going to cycle.
I think they said that there would be some that would be a constant.
Well, that's the X-Men
That's
one.
the X-Men
Yeah,
one.
I think
All
the
right.
X-Men are going to be constant, and then the other ones are going to rotate.
Yeah. And it's just a question of how often are we going to I would assume yearly.
I mean, that'd be a good guess. I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect anything more rapid than every 6 months, and even that doesn't align with their release schedule. Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
not
think
fast.
I think it'd have to be yearly cuz
Yeah.
Cuz then I feel like if you did 6 months you would cycle through everything so quickly. Cuz you're going to have to repack. Like let's say we did every 6 months or whatever, eventually you're going to get back to Spider Foes. You're going to have to repackage again. Because cards are going to have changed. It's not like you can just re-release the same thing.
You think they changed the characters? You think if like
If
new
they g-
Spider Foes are released?
Yeah, I would assume so.
If they do a new repack.
Yeah. I mean, I think you would have to, but we have 18, 20 affiliations, so take 10 years
Yeah.
to get through all of them if everyone got one. I mean, Winter Guard's not getting one, but
No, definitely see Avengers and Cabal getting them.
you know who's going to be the sad one that get one would be Wakanda because 3 of them are Panthers.
That's true.
So you're going to get 3 T'Challa.
that you can, and 2 Killmongers.
Yeah, that sucks.
I don't think they put the 1-in-1 in it. I don't think like the ones from the special diorama.
I don't know. That's a good question. Because we just haven't seen that come up yet, whether or not those special diorama models will end up anywhere else. I mean, the starter set models did eventually, because they made their own little tiny affiliation packs.
Yeah.
But that's just because the core box rotated, right?
Right. Yeah. But that's the thing is like, will they eventually want to rotate those guys out of the terrain boxes kind of thing? I don't know. Probably not, because they're just going to force you to pay $100 for 2 characters.
Well, has the Spider-Man one and
That's
Doc.
different though. The
Because they're the
Spider-Man
same.
one's is like a bad example.
Yeah, it's just a different character sculpt. I
Right. So
forgot.
you're looking at like Apex Predator and Logan, and then T'Challa and Killmonger.
Yeah.
And Apex Predator and Logan have not been changed at all. So I guess they're just going to stay in those big old boxes with their excellent pieces of terrain.
I mean, the bunker's better than that waterfall. That waterfall.
It's better than it, but it's still like
The bunker I can
kind
at
of a
least
pain
see
in
on
the
a table.
Bunker has
But
been on tables.
yeah, but it's a pain in the ass.
It is because it doesn't lay flat for
Right.
the tokens. It's always
And it
on
has
it
has that weird little like area in front of the door
Yeah, like the
where
grassy.
technically you count as being all the way up,
Yeah.
but you're on the ground.
Look, it's still better than that pyramid that they had at the Adepticon tables.
The Apocalypse stuff?
Yeah, the Sphinx. Do you remember that it was a size 2 that did not block line of sight?
No.
So you
Yeah,
didn't even play
it's-
on the rules right. Like if you weren't on that piece of terrain, you were not visible.
Was that the piece of terrain that Nick Fury was on?
Yes.
That's because I was never over there.
Oh, okay.
Remember,
And you never had to play on that in the singles?
No, I did not have to play it on the singles.
That was
We
the
played
worst
it
terrain.
we played on that terrain because it was very themey. But they said that. They said, heads up, this terrain is very like themey more than it is competitive. Kind of, it looks nice.
Yeah, I was laughing because me and Sean both played on it, and we both were told different rules.
Yeah.
No, I was because we were playing doubles, so we were playing Dark Dimension, and I just had Dormammu in the middle, and I think I had Weapon X, and I went off to like the other opposite direction of Nick Fury. So I was nowhere near that piece of terrain ever.
Yeah, that piece of terrain sucked.
Yeah, it's fun though. I had a good time. I really like doubles. I think it's a really fun event. I like playing with somebody else. A little different. It makes it like building rosters definitely different and stuff. Like it's a whole nother ball game, building a singles roster versus building a doubles roster.
Yeah.
That is a big enough topic where we could spend a whole nother podcast on.
Yeah. If you're thinking about getting into doubles, that's a whole nother topic you can bring up. We do have a listener question from our good friend Big Al. He wants to know, of all the tabletop games you've played, how would you rank MCP versus any others? We'll start with Gary.
Well, I've played a lot of tabletop games. I've been playing tabletop games for a very long time, and I will honestly say, without a shadow of doubt, I think MCP is by far my favorite tabletop game. It's easy to travel with. It's, I took it to LVO, which is clear across the country, and it was completely fine. It didn't cause any hassle. It's nice having quick setups, quick deployments. There's nothing worse than spending 20 minutes to set up a game to get wiped out in 5 minutes to go, well, that was fun. But yeah, I mean, there's some little nuances that took a little bit to get used to, but I think all in all, it's a very well done game. I love the models. I love Marvel. I can't say enough about it. I truly do think MCP is the best game I've played.
Sean?
So for me, I've been playing war games for over 30 years now, and that kind of hurts to say out loud. I've been playing Warhammer for all those years, and it still holds the number one spot in my heart. I like something about huge battles, but MCP is definitely a very close runner-up, and it is what I use to play any game that is as far apart from Warhammer as possible. I don't have to bring my, 120 point model army. I can just bring 10 models and still have a good time. And it's most games take under an hour to play, which is nice to have a quick and easy game. And I really like the mechanics that it has in it. It's very unique in a lot of the mechanics. I played a lot of different games. Each of them has their own unique mechanics, but this one has enough unique mechanics and also shared mechanics. There's plenty of games that, have their completely own individual rules tied to the faction, and you have no idea what your opponent's doing, and they could be lying to your face. But there's enough shared mechanics in this and still character uniqueness that really hits a good spot.
Right. I like MCP is definitely my favorite game at the moment, but I would agree with Sean. I think MCP is a really good like palate cleanser for Warhammer players. You play if you like Warhammer, yeah, that's great. I like Warhammer. And I think it's a good break where the games are so different that you don't get a lot of rules confused and stuff, but it's also like one of those games that's very easy to transport. So, if you're just heading over to your friend's house really quick, or whatever, MCP is a really good one where, you know, Warhammer has all that. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I agree with what Sean's saying. He plays Warhammer competitively. He's very good at it, but MCP stands out still. And for me, I think I just go like the opposite direction where I really, really like MCP. I like painting the models because I like that I don't have to paint the same models. I'm really bad at that. And that's like my own personal thing. It's not a matter of painting 100 models. It's that like I don't know why I can't seem to, in my brain, can't match model after model after model after model kind of thing. I'm not a good batch painter.
I absolutely agree with you there.
Yeah. I love though the idea, like I like the big battles, I like all the models, the lore is fantastic and stuff. I'm just a bad paint for that one. So I think I still put MCP as top for me. It's my favorite game I've ever played. It's definitely the one I've tried the hardest at. I never really got into competitive Warhammer or even like other games I played. I played a little bit of Malifaux competitively, but never to the extent of like what I'm doing for MCP.
Yeah. And that being said, it is a little difficult to rank like tabletop games because they do bring different things.
Right, they're very different.
Yeah, like Warhammer is definitely like I can still really enjoy a game of Warhammer. My thing is I don't think I can do a Warhammer tournament. I don't think I have the endurance for it. I don't think like playing one game of Warhammer exhausts. I don't think I can do back-to-backs to backs. So like MCP was my first like competitive like tabletop game. It's the first one that I'm like, yeah, I'm doing tournaments, like sign me up, I got this. Whereas like the other games, a lot of like my past in tabletop has just been like beer and pretzels, hanging out with friends, like playing Warhammer, playing, fantasy.
We've done Bushido,
Yeah, Bushido.
Arena Rex, Malifaux. We have, Legion. We did
What was the Steamforge game?
Guild Ball Steamforge.
No, I meant now it's the P3
A
game.
War Machine.
War Machine. War Machine
Yep.
Hordes.
War Machine
Yep.
was a very competitive game, and I played a little bit. I feel like that game though is kind of you have to be competitive kind of game.
Yeah.
That's actually what I didn't like about it. It was really hard to learn that game because everyone was being so overly competitive about it.
Yeah, I just played around with it. I enjoyed it, but I never, like I said, it's another game where I didn't take it as seriously as MCP. MCP has definitely been. I've tried a lot harder at this game than I have any other game.
Lord of the
I still love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like a lot of the other games. Like all the games we've mentioned, I like. There's not none of the games I've mentioned, I've been like, F this game. This game sucks. This is a bad game. MCP is just the game that I have tried the hardest at being good at and, done enough to be like, I run tournaments, I'm running, we're doing things at events, we're streaming. I tried really hard at MCP.
Yeah, MCP is the first one that like grabbed me hard enough to be like, hey man, I want to like turn this into part of my identity.
Right. I mean, it's our whole tag identity almost.
Currently, it is.
Currently, he's foreshadowing.
Bum.
But yeah, I think we all have that love for all the games. That changes too, and before MCP, it wasn't. It couldn't have been my top game. So there was a top game before that, and I'm sure there's a top game before that game. And eventually, maybe MCP falls out of grace. Who knows?
Well,
It's
that's
a
my one worry is
never-ending
that it's a
cycle.
Marvel-based IP. It will run out eventually.
There's a lot of characters.
There is a lot of characters.
This isn't like this is where I think like Star Wars Legion kind of suffers a little bit, is that there's only so many factions, or like Armada had that problem. Armada and X-Wing, there were only so many starships kind of thing. So what do you do? But MCP has thousands of characters, and they've already proven to us that they're going to make those weird characters.
Yeah, they're gonna go deep. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
Warlock.
Yeah.
Cough, cough.
Yeah, we're
They're
getting
gonna-
them all kind of thing. So
they get
you don't have
multiple
to.
man and
Well, I don't. Multiple Man is not a niche character. Okay,
who's a little devil?
do not.
What's the devil dude thing that you?
Which one? The Sugar Man?
Yeah, Sugar Man.
God, I want the Sugar Man so bad. Anybody listening, if you don't know who the Sugar Man is, look him up and tell me that wouldn't be the coolest model on the board.
Be a Harlequin.
No, ew. Don't compare those two. Yuck. Elves. Barf.
Well, old Harlequins, not current.
I like the old It does look a lot like the old Harlequin Wraithlord face.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it does
Dude,
look a lot like
what
that.
in the world is that?
You never saw Sugar Man?
No.
Oh my God. That's good stuff. He even has a Build-A-Figure in the action figure line.
He looks like somebody left their street sharks out in the sun.
Dude, I'm all about that guy. He's ridiculous looking. He would be so cool on the board.
Easy.
Yeah, I like it. I like him a lot. I don't know where you'd put him or what you'd do with him. I don't know. Like, I think he'd just have to be, he would truly have to be like unaffiliated, I feel like, but we don't get it. Oh, we do, because we got Gladiator back, so it is back.
Yeah, True Unaffiliated is back.
Right? It is back. Good.
Soon we're gonna get the Brood.
By God, that would like make my day. AMG does listen though, because a lot of my wish lists have been made. I didn't think the Wrecking Crew was ever going to get made, and it happened. So, and when I first got into the game, I really wanted Sentinels, and I definitely did not think was ever going to be a thing.
I
Just
still
because
recall
they weren't named characters.
when they were previewed, you said to me, "I don't care how bad they are, I'm gonna play them."
I did play them. I didn't say how long I was going to play them.
I played them once.
I
Yeah.
painted it, put it on the table, and said, "Nope."
I did paint up Sentinel Prime, and I was really happy with them, and I love the models. I think they're the best MCP models. They're just unfortunate. Yikes. Well,
event
hopefully AMG is still listening, and we are going to get some of those wishlist characters, and I will get that Sugar Man eventually. So we have some upcoming events next week. The next weekend, the Memorial Day weekend.
Labor Day.
Yes, Labor.
Labor Day. I get those two mixed up all the time. It's such a stupid thing to mix up. Labor Day weekend, we have the Nova Open, where we'll be teaming up with some fellow Crisis Protocol players to run some Crisis Protocol events. We have plenty of spaces still available. Come on out, have a good time. We're doing affiliation, doubles, timeline, and a regular standard tournament. A grand tournament. Is it a grand tournament?
I actually don't know if it made GT status or not. It is the size of a GT. They may have not applied for it.
I'm pretty sure it is, because I think Nova applies for it. If I remember, I had a conversation with them about that.
Well, we'll find out next year when.
They don't apply for it. Nova applies for it.
I guess that makes sense because it has to be shared between
Right. That's why,
MCP,
because they do Shatterpoint and
and
what's it called?
Legion.
So we have the Nova Open, Crisis Event 4. We are going to set up. That is going to be sometime in October. I unfortunately don't have any information on it right now, but plan for our Crisis Event 4 to be sometime in October. Your last chance qualifier is going to be November, and that is also to be determined because stores are closing and we are running out of places to play. So we have to scramble. December 4th through the 7th, we will be in Ocean City, Maryland at Shorehammer. We will be running a singles, a doubles, and an affiliation out there. Then we move on to next year. Planned so far for next year, we will be at the Battle to End Alzheimer's, April 11th through the 12th. And those are all our future known upcoming events. We will definitely have more. We have lots of things in the works right now, so expect more events coming. I want to give a massive shout out to all our amazing Patreon supporters. You are the real MVPs, helping to keep Target Acquired Gaming rolling strong. Every battle report, every podcast, every live stream, it is all possible because of your support. Whether you're here for the action, the strategy, or just to hear us geek out, thank you for being a part of the crew. You're not just subscribers, you are teammates in this wild ride. If you haven't joined yet, head over to Patreon and be part of the squad and makes everything happen. Exclusive perks, behind the scenes content, and maybe even have a say in what we cover next, like we did today. Target Acquired Podcast is brought to you by Game Chefs, your ultimate destination for all things tabletop. Whether you're looking for new, exciting board game, assembling your squad in Marvel Crisis Protocol, or building the perfect Warhammer army, Game Chefs has everything you need. Miniatures, dice, rulebooks, and the best community of gamers around. And just for you, our amazing listeners, Game Chefs is offering 15% off your next purchase. Just use the code TAG, that's TAG2025 at GameChefs.org and save on your next adventure. Roll some dice and level up your game at Game Chefs. Link and code can be found in the description. And that concludes this episode of a Target Acquired podcast. See ya!